Horns up and welcome to Headbanger's Kitchen. I don't know how many of you are familiar or aware about a channel on YouTube called Serious Keto, but it's a keto channel run by Steve, and very recently I had a sort of conversation with him in the comment section of one of his videos, and that sort of discussion inspired today's video, which is the enemy of keto is keto itself. Now I'm sure you're wondering, what does it mean? What am I talking about? So let me start at the beginning. I was watching Steve's video and he was talking about how more recently he's had to deal with a lot of anti-keto comments as his channel grows bigger, and he's sort of viewed by people who are not from the keto community. And he said that a lot of these comments largely are born, or are a product rather, of misinformation. And of course there's a lot of misinformation about keto in the media and in the general fitness circles. And one of the things that sort of really struck me is that a lot of this misinformation about keto comes from the keto community itself. And I really want to talk about this, and I want to elaborate on what I am trying to say. Because this is not me hating on keto, guys. Please remember, I am still part of the keto community. I still recommend keto to people who it can help. I still have my Keto for Beginners series, my Keto 101, and I still make keto recipes. And that's because I genuinely believe that keto can help people. Is it a diet for everyone? No, it's definitely not. But there are people who thrive on keto, there are people who just want to try keto, and there are people who enjoy the recipes because they live a low carb lifestyle, or they like to eat more whole foods, or whatever the reason is. I'm not here to judge anyone who does or doesn't do keto, but I do want to talk about how the keto community can be its own worst enemy. Now, I remember when I started keto like 5 years ago. At that time, keto was just starting to get known by people. It wasn't the behemoth that it is today in the diet and the fitness world. There were barely any keto products. There were a handful of keto influencers or recipe channels or resources even. They were there, but they didn't have the sort of exposure that they have today. And obviously over the last 5 years or so, keto has exploded. And I'm not just talking out of thin air. The keto industry today is worth $10 billion. That's a lot of money. And that, my friends, is kind of where the problems start to arise. When things are more obscure, they're lesser known, they are more controlled in the way that the information spreads. When you have a $10 billion industry, the forefront of that is marketing. And that, in my opinion, is where things start to go horribly wrong. I mean, let's start with the 28-day keto diet plan. Tell me you haven't seen that on Instagram or Facebook. I have constantly been bombarded by ads, by profiles that sell you this 28-day keto plan to lose weight. I mean, if that is not the biggest source of misinformation, I don't know what is. That is the absolute worst marketing that the keto diet could ever get. They're literally selling you false promises, and it's I don't know how this is even permitted, but how many of you have seen these profiles on Instagram? I've had my photos taken and reposted. And it's not just spammy looking accounts. There are so many accounts that just aggregate keto content, and they do sell something or the other in a very unrealistic way. Can you lose weight with keto? Of course you can lose weight, but these profiles and these businesses go out of their way to sell a very unrealistic and a very misinformed version of keto. So that, to me, is one of the biggest problems that the keto community faces, is these kind of businesses that try to really exploit keto and sell it as something that it's not. Then of course we have the exogenous ketones. Again, I have got so many adverts for exogenous ketones, and the claims laid out by all these products are mind bogglingly unrealistic. They tell you things like eat whatever you want and just pop this pill, and your body will use ketones and burn away all the fat. And I have seen celebrities endorsing these pills as well. I'm sure you guys have seen these ads. This is yet again another way that keto is sort of misrepresented. It is one of the things that sends misinformation out there that keto is some kind of fad diet where you can pop a pill of exogenous ketones and lose weight, and there are so many people selling these to you. So that to me is another big red flag, and frankly is an enemy of keto products. I mean, come on, guys, you know the amount of keto products that are available today in the market that you can buy off the shelf. I remember 5 years ago, there was none of this stuff. And when it started, it was like home bakers and people at home selling things. And it was still a lot of whole foods, natural foods. Now it's an industry. There are shelves stocked with keto products. And guess what, guys? When you're in the food business, you have to make food that is shelf stable. So all these products have gone into the same category as your other products. It's just that they're sugar free or they don't use refined flour, but it's still using all the so-called stabilizers and emulsifiers and all. Like, I remember on Instagram, again, I don't know how many of you are familiar with my friend Aaron from AD Keto High Fat High Fun. He had bought a packet of pork rinds, and there were like 50 ingredients at the back. Like, basically keto products are now as good as most commercial products because that's what they are at the end of the day. The whole deal is to make them shelf stable. And I don't even know, like, I have so many thoughts in my head. We're going back to the same reasons that people got obese in the first place: eating too much food, too many high calorie items. You can see how many keto channels have talked about this. All of them have said, oh, I stopped losing weight on keto, and then I realized I was eating too many keto cookies and keto protein bars and keto energy bars. And basically what has happened is keto has become just another part of the food industry, and it's going to get bigger and bigger. Now, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against people doing business, making a living, as long as you're honest and upfront about what you're doing. As long as you're not trying to pass off something as a magic pill, sell it as something it's not. There is absolutely nothing wrong with anyone making and selling keto products, selling diet plans, or any of that stuff. It is absolutely fine. But the key has to be transparency, honesty, integrity. Those are things that I feel a lot of businesses lack today. So I think that is one of the biggest contributing factors to all the keto misinformation. And then, of course, you've got keto influencers. Now, obviously, I'm not painting everyone with the same brush, but let's be honest, a lot of them are making commissions on you buying products. A lot of them are making money out of you buying their diet plans or even their cookbooks, like me. But what matters at the end of the day is that these people don't sell you a pipe dream, right? Like, I will always say, keto is not a magic diet. You still have to eat in a calorie deficit. Yes, keto may or may not work for you. It's not for everyone, but that's not the case with everybody, right? For some people, this is solely what they sort of make their bread and butter on. And again, I'm not saying is anything wrong with making a living doing just keto or just doing keto recipes or diet plans or being a personal trainer. The issue lies with the ethics and the misinformation. When people don't have the full picture, that's a problem. And that brings me to the final piece of the problem: the keto police, the people who are like extremist about keto. Keto people always complain. I'm really messing up today. Keto people always complain about vegans. Vegans are so extremist, blah, blah, blah. Keto is no different. And I think with pretty much any lifestyle, people start to get overzealous about things. They believe that it's my way or the highway. If you're not living your life like I'm living mine, you are doing it wrong. I mean, it's just a less violent version of religion, if you ask me. It's like, you don't believe in my God, I kill you. And here it's like, you don't eat my diet, you're wrong, you are evil, you are trying to kill everybody. Like, it's nuts. And even people who want to get into keto, they're trying, right? Like, if somebody's doing keto to better their life, and if they eat an orange, or if they go to a McDonald's and buy like a burger and throw away the bun, why do they need to be shamed and ridiculed? Like, I don't know about you, but I used to be on a lot of keto groups on Facebook, and those places were a toxic mess. Like, I think that attitude there of like, you're doing it wrong, you can't do this on keto, that scares off people. That is also a big cause of misinformation, because not everybody knows it all about keto, right? And yet people act like they do, and they're like, if you don't do it this way, you're doing it wrong. And that, my friends, is another way how misinformation spreads. So I've told you what are all the problems, but it would be quite useless if I didn't also offer something of a solution. Obviously, these are problems that we can't fix. You can't stop people from advertising their businesses. You can't, like, there's only so much you can do, right? But what we can do as a community is we can be more welcoming. We can be nicer to people. We can have empathy and compassion. I know that I would often be judgy of people who would go to a McDonald's and probably buy a McDonald's burger and throw away the bun, and because I hate McDonald's, I hate KFC, I hate all these fast food companies for their ethics, for their terrible tasting food, and for a lot of other things. But at the end of the day, if somebody has the financial inability to go out and buy a grass-fed steak, who am I and how dare I judge someone? I don't live the same life that everyone else does. If somebody might be a single mother, feeding 2 kids, maybe she can't go and buy a grass-fed steak and feed the family. It's not her fault. And how dare I judge someone for their choices when they're doing everything they can to just be better? So I think we as people can be less judgy. We can have more empathy for others. We can do our best to correct people in a polite way. If someone says keto is only about eating bacon and cheese, you can politely correct them that, hey, that's not the case. Here are a few resources for keto where you can get correct information. And I think that is important, that we share resources, share correct information. You can do it without being a D-bag about it. Like, if somebody is interested in keto, instead of saying, oh, don't do that, don't do this, say, hey, here are a couple of websites you can check out that we recommend that have correct information, rather than being aggressive and crazy about it. When you see those Instagram accounts stealing people's pictures and selling those 28-day diet plans, report those accounts. Let the people whose pictures they've stolen know about it, so they can report it for copyright infringement. Whenever you follow a keto influencer or someone, don't take what they say as the gospel. Take some time, if you can, do a little bit of research. If somebody is telling you to use a certain product, see if they are getting a commission from that product, if they are making money. I'm not saying don't buy it if they are making money, but just understand that they have an incentive to push something, because they are being paid for it. So all these small things, I think if we can do as individuals, we can do our best to better this community, to stop the spread of misinformation about keto as much as possible. And I think at the end of the day, if we keep an open mind about things and we're able to live and let live, I think it's better for all of us. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think of this video. This was just very spontaneous. I just thought I'll do a video sharing my thoughts. I don't know if any of you are interested in this kind of video from my channel, but if you are, let me know. Maybe I'll do more. If there are any topics you'd like to get my opinion on, let me know below. Maybe I'll do a video like this. Who knows? Anyway, I think that has been enough jibber jabber from me. I will see you on the next episode of Headbanger's Kitchen or my unimpressive weight loss transformation. Until then, cheers and keep cooking. Hey guys, I recently started a new YouTube channel for short format keto recipes. It's called Headbanger's Kitchen Shorts. Click here and subscribe to that channel if you're interested in short format content. And I also post some very cool non-keto food content on Headbanger Eats, my other channel.